Hey, Book Dragons. I am so glad that you're here with me today. I'm going to be talking about some authors that so many people say are must-read authors, and I don't necessarily think that's the case. So sit tight with me. If you need to pause the video to grab snacks or drinks, go do that. Come right back. We're going to get right to my list. Got my list right here in front of me. That way I make sure not to miss any of these. And the first one I'm going to talk about is David Mitchell. David Mitchell is a very popular author with a lot of readers. He's the author of books like Cloud Atlas, The Bone Clocks, several others. I can't remember the names of other books he wrote. But I read Cloud Atlas back in the day, or I should say I attempted to read Cloud Atlas. And it's broken up in a series of 6 vignettes over the course of several epochs of time. And one of the stories in particular, one of the vignettes, was so nonsensical, it was not even readable. I couldn't get past it, and I DNF'd that book so hard. While I'm open to reading more David Mitchell, potentially, I was kind of interested in the Bone Clocks. I just don't know if his writing style is for me. You know, I had such an off-putting experience with Cloud Atlas. And so it kind of makes me wonder if he really is the must-read author that people say he is. A lot of people love David Mitchell, and that's awesome. I love that for them. I don't know. I don't think that he's really for me, but I might give him another shot at some point. We'll have to see. So that's David Mitchell. The next one on my list is going to be a very unpopular opinion, I have a feeling. That is R.A. Salvatore. He is best known probably for his work in the Forgotten Realms with the legend of Drizzt Do'Urden, who is a dark elf or a drow. And I read Homeland, or I should say, I attempted to read Homeland. I DNF'd it halfway through the book. So that is the first book in the prequel series to the original Icewind Dale trilogy. And I was informed that I should really start at the beginning of Drizzt's journey, which would mean I have to read the prequels, which were written after the Icewind Dale trilogy. So Icewind Dale trilogy was the first one. I did not click at all with Homeland. I was so bored, and I really did not like the writing style. I think that was a big part of it. I did not care for Salvatore's writing style. Some people have told me, oh, give Icewind Dale a shot then. I'm like, if I don't like his writing in Homeland, why would I go back to earlier books that he wrote before he improved on his writing over time and read those? If I don't like his writing now, I'm probably not going to like those. And so I'm done with Salvatore. I don't think he's the author for me. And I think he's kind of overhyped. That's my own personal opinion. No shade on anybody else who loves Salvatore. It's apparent that he has a huge fan base. I just don't think I am one of those fans. All right, we're moving on to another one that may be fairly unpopular, and that is Cormac McCarthy. Everyone that I had talked to had said, start with The Road. The Road is probably the shortest and best of his books. And oh man, I regretted reading The Road. I did finish The Road, but I regretted ever having picked it up. The writing style was definitely not for me. He has a thing about weird uses of punctuation or not much punctuation at all, and it gives the story a very choppy flow. I just did not click with it, and I'm not going to read any more Cormac McCarthy. I really don't think he's for me. A lot of the other books that I've read the blurbs for don't sound up my alley. I know Blood Meridian is another really popular one, and I don't click with his writing, so I'm not going to read any more. But he has a huge fan base, again, and that's great. Every author is for someone, I think. He just happens to not be for me. All right, we're moving on to another one. Apparently, I've got a lot of hot takes in this video, so bear with me. This is another one that is going to turn some heads. Gene Wolfe. Oh, guys, Gene Wolfe. The Book of the New Sun. I read Shadow and Claw, which is a bind-up of the first two books in the Book of the New Sun. Shadow of the Torturer and Claw of the Conciliator. Oh, man. I was hate reading that book by the end. I really, really do not like Severian. Severian is just an awful character. And you know, there's characters that you love to hate, and then there's characters that you hate to hate. And those are the characters that you just really don't ever want to read about again. I've read some pretty despicable characters in my time that I really liked. Oh, I hated Severian. I don't know, there was something about him, and the story was just kind of choppy. It didn't flow well for me, and yet it is hailed as the pinnacle of sci fantasy. And it's well loved. It's got a huge fan base. But I'm not going to continue the Book of the New Sun. I'm done with Shadow and Claw. I'm good. I've experienced Gene Wolfe, and I don't plan to experience him again. But good on all of you that love him. I think that's awesome. All right, so we are moving on to maybe a surprising take for some of you who know me, because you know that I love Dune by Frank Herbert, and I also love Dune Messiah. I didn't totally enjoy Children of Dune. There were aspects of Children of Dune that I enjoyed, but then when I got to God Emperor of Dune, I DNF'd that book at 50%. I'm like, you know, this is not for me. I think I'm good stopping after Dune Messiah. I think I'm good. I don't need to read any more Dune from that point. And I'm not going to try the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson books. I have no desire. I really don't. I'm sorry. I've heard very mixed things about those. And if I haven't completed the rest of the original saga, there's really no point in me reading all of their books. But yeah, Frank Herbert is a great writer. Really great writer. I love him, but I think Dune is a must-read book. I don't know if I would say that Herbert is a must-read author. I'll kind of leave that for all of you to decide, but yeah, he did not totally work for me, even though this is probably my favorite sci-fi book of all time. And Dune Messiah right up next to it is a very close third. I have a second favorite sci-fi book in Hyperion, but yeah, this is fantastic. I was just disappointed that I didn't enjoy the rest of his stuff. So, there we go. All right, so we are moving on, and we're going to talk about Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury is hailed by so many as a must-read author. Again, he's an author that I would say there are maybe some must-read books, but I don't know if he's a must-read author. Fahrenheit 451, I think, is a must-read book. I absolutely love this. Still my favorite Ray Bradbury book that I have read. I also enjoyed Something Wicked This Way Comes pretty well. It wasn't great for me. You know, it didn't blow me out of the water, but it was good. It's a good story. I don't know if I would say it's a must-read. A lot of people talk about The Illustrated Man being a must-read. It's not, guys. It's not. It does not age well in many respects, and I just bounced off of it. I DNF'd that one. Couldn't do it. I do want to try Dandelion Wine, but I think that's the only other one of his I'm really interested in trying. And yeah, I don't think he's a must-read author. At least he isn't for me. Must-read books, yeah, some of his books would apply in that context, but I don't think he's a must-read author. I think there's better authors out there that write better stories. Even classic authors, you know, early sci-fi and fantasy horror writers, there's better ones out there than Ray Bradbury, I would have to say. So I know that's an unpopular opinion, but yeah. Okay, we're moving on. We're going to talk about Pierce Brown. You're Not Gonna Love Me. I did try Red Rising, and maybe I'll give it another shot. I don't know. But I bounced off of it pretty hard right at the beginning. I bounced off of it 3 chapters in, and I was just so done with Darrow that I did not have any desire to continue reading it. People did not like that. And they told me I should give it more time. Maybe I'll try it again, but I don't know. I don't think that Pierce Brown is for me. I didn't totally click with his writing either. Now, of course, that's his first book, and maybe it was too early on. I don't know. Maybe he gets better at writing, and that's great. But if Darrow stays the same throughout the series, I'm just like, I'm over it. I really am. But good on all the people that love Pierce Brown and love the Red Rising series. That's awesome. I think that's important for him to get some love. He gets a lot of it, and so that's great. We're going to talk about a really big and prolific author, a very popular author. Can you guess who I'm going to talk about? If the name Brandon Sanderson came to your lips, you were right. That's who we're talking about. So, I have read everything in the Cosmere, except for one book. I have not read Isles of the Emberdark yet, and I know he's got other books coming out. He's good. He's good. I like Brandon Sanderson. He's a good author for me. He's not great. He wouldn't make my top 10. He is kind of overrated, in my opinion, and some of his books are pretty weak. I have not enjoyed the direction he took the Stormlight Archive. It's fine, but it's just not great for me, so I guess we'll see when he starts releasing the second arc of the Stormlight Archive. I have read other books of his outside the Cosmere. Well, one, really. And that was the original. He co-wrote that with Mary Robinette Cole. It's a sci-fi novel, and it was good. I enjoyed that. And I am curious about his new book that came out of short stories that are outside the Cosmere called Tailored Realities. That sounds pretty interesting. I might read that. But I don't think he's a must-read author. Again, I think there are better authors out there than Brandon Sanderson. And if you don't want to read Brandon Sanderson, I don't think you need to. There's so many books out there to be read, and he's a super popular author. He's written tons of books, but that doesn't make him a must-read author. So I know that's a pretty unpopular opinion. I'm glad I read him, and I will continue to read his stuff unless I just get completely tired of him and decide to stop. But I don't think he's a must-read author. So there we go. Unpopular opinion again. Another one is Andrzej Sapkowski. He's a Polish writer. His series, The Witcher, was translated from Polish into English. And the translations are decent. I think it's probably a hard language to translate and convey everything that the original language intended, but I liked The Witcher okay. It was good. I got to a certain point in the series and I was really put off by the last book I read, by the ending of the last book. And I don't know if I'll continue the series. I probably won't at this point. And I won't go into why right now. That's for another video, but I was quite put off. And I think there are much better writers than Sapkowski. The books don't totally flow well, but they're fine. They're okay. But I don't think I would call him a must-read author. A lot of people love Sapkowski. I can see why. Large fan base, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue the series, and I wouldn't call him a must-read author. So the final one on this list is Steven Erikson, the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I am okay with Steven Erikson. I really enjoyed Gardens of the Moon. I finished Deadhouse Gates. And I started Memories of Ice, and I was enjoying it, but I was so burned out at that point by Deadhouse Gates that I stopped reading Memories of Ice halfway through. I do intend to go back and finish it, and I do intend to make a choice at that point whether or not to continue Malazan Book of the Fallen or not. Erikson has a very unique writing style. He's not for everyone. I still don't totally know if he's for me, but I'm willing to give him another shot. I would not call him a must-read author, though. I think he's a pretty polarizing author. Not everybody likes him, but he's got a huge fan base, a very passionate fan base. I tell you what, guys, of all the fan bases out there, the Malazan fan base is one that you don't want to really piss off. And I'm probably pissing them off by making this video. Gene Wolfe's fan base is another one that you don't want to piss off. I've experienced that personally. I'm willing to continue Steven Erikson, but I'm also willing to decide that I'm just not a fan of Malazan. So we shall see. The jury is still out on that. But that has been my list of must-read authors that I don't think are must-reads. Let me know in the comments what you think. Who are some of your not-so-must-read authors? And do you agree with some of my takes in this video, or do you not agree? Feel free to have a dialogue with me. I would love to hear from you. I would love to have a conversation, as long as it's kind. Let's keep it kind. Let's not belittle each other. Everybody loves what they love, and everybody has things that they don't love, and it's okay. It really is okay. So keep the comments kind, and let's have a good conversation. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Talk to me in the comments, and until next time, make sure you read more books. I'll talk with you soon.